Hey, Chicago, what do you say? It's the CHGO Cubs postgame show podcast presented by DraftKings, America's top-rated sportsbook. Download the app, use the promo code CHGO when you sign up. Light the W, another Cubs win on a Monday night, and what a game this was. Out in Oakland, Luke Stuckmeyer, Cody Delmendo, Ryan Herrera will be watching Cody drink from his victory beer bat in moments. First of all, thank you for staying up to everybody. Happy Tuesday to everybody on the East Coast as we start this podcast live for Barb on YouTube. It is live. If you're enjoying this on the podcast form on Tuesday morning, just know you missed a lot of runs, a lot of hits.
Yeah, if you like offense, or if you don't like offense, this game wasn't for you, but everyone likes offense, so.
20 hits for the Cubs. 20 hits for the Cubs. Their seventh multi-hit game already this season.
We're vibing,
multi-hit
baby.
Or double digit?
9 and
double
6.
Double digit, not multi-hit. Thank you. See, yeah, they've had plenty of multi-hit games.
Yeah,
double digits. They've had an 11-hit game, two 12-hit games, 14, 16, 18, and now a 20-hit game. And we were worried that they wouldn't score enough runs.
Right. We came into the seasons like, you know what, this, starting pitching and defense are gonna, lead the team because there's going to be a lot of close games and all the things we said. And now the Cubs are going out and scoring all these runs and getting all these hits every game. It's not what we expected to what the first 15 games were going to look like this season. But
the pitching part we did, which has been great. And we'll get to that in a little bit. But the offense was spectacular. And by the way, Mike Dubs was right. If you bet Wisdom to homer, plus 425.
I wonder how much it was for 2 homers.
Oh, Dubs. You're really like the W.
I saw your girl Cassie in here. We follow each other on TikTok. She's a huge Bellinger fan, so I'm sure she was having a great time watching this game tonight.
I just saw somebody say they agreed with me. I didn't see who it was.
Of course someone's.
But I do need to mention that.
Stucky is getting overtime.
Keep going up.
Stucky's getting overtime.
I agree with Luke. Wesneski is back. Lucas
Fort Miller.
All right, are we ready for the pour?
I will read your comment if you say you agree with me.
Again, if you agree with Luke or me, I will try and read it.
All right, do your celebratory fly the W pour.
For vibes, baby. I mean, look, this team is 9 and 6.
What's the record right now for your record?
115 is his record.
I mean, I've been doing this since opening day, so we're 9 and 6 of me doing this.
And like your record, like time wise.
Oh, yeah, 33 seconds.
1:15 or 1 minute 33 seconds. Is that what it was?
33 seconds. I did 33 seconds remotely. I don't need to hear your bullshit.
Sad.
Now wait a minute. I don't know about these remote. I can't see if there's a hole in the bottom of the bat remotely.
God. Fine, whatever.
33 seconds.
You're the commissioner.
Vibes are elite, Corey Friedman. Vibes are elite.
I'm pouring the beer.
All right, pour the beer.
All right, and then we might have to wait for a minute because
we'll wait. Sometimes it's gotta foam down a little bit.
Goes.
Anyways, the offense was spectacular. I mean, 20 hits. Listen, I was hoping for the shortest game of the season, but at least they made it worthwhile if we're going to be up this late.
Yeah.
It was a fun game to watch.
Yeah, I mean, you got a great start out of Hayden Wesneski. And he needed it. He needed that start. Oh, my God. Do you see this pour?
Wow, that's nice.
I mean,
G. Witt says he just won $50 on 3 $3 bets.
There you go, G. Witt. Like I was saying, Hayden Wesneski, 7 innings. And I don't care if it's the Athletics. The guy needed a confidence builder. And he started out a little slow, but got better as the game went on. Ended up with 7 strikeouts. You love to see that. And then on top of it, the offense. I mean, just all up and down the lineup, dude. It didn't. I mean, I know Mancini wasn't great, and we're gonna talk about first base. Gary, calm down. We're gonna talk about him, all right? But other than Mancini, everyone was hitting tonight. Bellinger, 5 for 5, first ever 5 for 5 game. Wisdom, 2 bombs, and then your top 3 just continue to hit, dude.
And I think one thing we overlook with the offense doing what it did today is, when we talk about Wesneski, having, it was not so good outing and then a bad outing to start the year. This is like a game where he has to, build some of that confidence back, go out there, pitch well. And when they're spotting him a 5-run lead before he even pitches in the 4th inning, well, then as far as confidence goes, hey, he can make a mistake and he has room for error.
Yeah.
And so for that is I think that gets overlooked at how especially young starters, when they're in these close games. Like these are, at least at the major league level, like some situations they haven't been in too much in their career. But you're giving your guy a 5-run lead before he pitches in the 4th inning. Well, he's got room for error, and he can go out there and not worry about 1 run ties the game, right? Like one pitch might tie the game.
He did settle down before that, though, because early on we kind of watched and we're like, well, they're hitting him pretty hard. I don't think it's going to turn into the bomb that he had the last time, but it wasn't. It didn't look great. And then by the end of it, you had Rick Sutcliffe saying this could be the Dodgers and he'd be doing it.
Yeah.
Right? Like he had turned it around so much for himself and gotten it going downhill that by the end of the game, he had 15 straight retired, and he was like, this could be any offense, and he'd be doing it to him. So that was impressive. All right, you ready, Cody?
We're going to do the chug. This is for the Chicago Cubs. Patrick Wisdom, Hayden Wesneski.
Cubs win, Cardinals lose night.
Cardinals lost 6-3 tonight. Hate to see it. And just, for fun. Okay.
All right, here we go.
Here we go.
And first sip.
So according to Michael Cerami on Twitter, too, for the first time since June 30th, 2021, the Cubs are 3 games over 500.
Yep.
First time in almost 2 years.
You could have finished that.
Oh, my God. I was trying.
It's only 13 seconds. You still could have a record here. Take your time. He's going to be belching the rest of the show.
Oh, man.
Now you guys make me laugh.
I think you could. You didn't have to take it out of your mouth. You could have just finished it.
Still got a shot. Close.
Yeah, it really foams up at the end there.
This is riveting for the podcast people on Spotify tomorrow.
Right there.
And done.
35.
You're at 37. 37. That's foam. Nice job.
I'm gonna be really good at this by the end of the year because we're
under
going
30.
for 90 wins at this point. Manifest.
It's a lot of 3-1-2. A lot of 3-1-2 before the season's over.
I hope Goose Island knows that I'm doing this, by the way. I hope our bosses are telling them that I'm doing this.
What we talked about, though, in the pregame show, for those who weren't watching the pregame show, Patrick Wisdom is on an absolute tear. 5 home runs in 4 games, and this type of streaky home run hitting, right, reminds me of Soriano. That part of it reminds me of Soriano could hit like just batches, and then he would go ice cold. But Patrick Wisdom, for me, well, coming into this game, I said the most impressive thing about him for me was that he was playing great defense at third base. Now the power is, he's tied for the major league lead in home runs 15 games into the season. And again, we mentioned in the pregame show, I said I heard Cliff Floyd yesterday say he thinks Wisdom could hit 50 this season. That was before he hit 2 tonight.
Yeah, he's got 8 now, right? 15 games into the year.
I'm not going to say he's crazy. We did kind of banter about that he could. When we looked at guys that could lead the team in home runs this season, I think we had Bellinger, Wisdom, and maybe Seiya in that group.
Yeah.
But I think we kind of settled on, we agreed between most of us, we said either Bellinger or
I think I
Wisdom.
said Mancini.
But I didn't know. I didn't say. The only reason I wasn't sure about Wisdom was I wasn't sure he'd get enough at bats. Yeah. I wasn't sure he'd get. I figured Bellinger would get enough playing time in center field, but I wasn't sure that Wisdom would get it at third. He plays like this. Obviously, he's going to get more than enough playing time. And by the way, obviously, he's going to be your third baseman of the future if he continues to do it. Stop talking about who's going to play third base. Right now, it's Wisdom.
Yeah. And, Mike Dubs talks about the home run prop. There's like a plus 425 or something like that on DraftKings pregame. But what I mentioned pregame was that, this was the kind of matchup that you knew Wisdom could have success in, right? Like you knew that a lefty, slower pitcher, doesn't miss a lot of bats kind of thing. Like you felt good about Patrick Wisdom's potential in that type of matchup. And then he goes out and hits a home run in his first at bat, like to tie the game. Like I
crushed it.
I'm not saying that I called it, but like I even said, like, if he hit another home run, I wouldn't be surprised. But he hit 2. But yes, this type of streak, we know that Patrick Wisdom can do that because, as I told you guys when we were sitting on the couch, that the last hitter to hit 5 home runs in a 4-game stretch was Patrick Wisdom in 2021. So we know he has this type of power stretch in him. We also know that he has the potential to go over for a while, or get only a couple hits and a lot of at bats. So we know that there's a shot that this kind of streak comes to an end for Wisdom and he struggles. Like that happens, especially when a guy is so strikeout heavy. Even though he has cut down on the strikeouts this year for the most part, he's strikeout heavy.
He looked at me when he said
right?
that.
Yeah.
We know that a streak like that could come with Patrick Wisdom just based on his own history, but you don't want to mess with what he's doing right now because he's hitting the ball so well.
He's up there. Kevin, do you have the major league leaders again? I mean, we looked at it. He was tied for third coming into the game, one ahead of Aaron Judge. Now he jumps over some guys, and he's jumps Devers, and now he's tied for the lead with Pete Alonso for the major league lead.
It's just unreal, man.
Yep.
It's absolutely unreal.
And none of them
Rizzo's
have been cheap
12th
shots.
with 4.
No.
He's got twice as many as Rizzo.
Yeah.
Yeah, like Kevin said, like none of them have been cheap shots. I haven't looked to see like the exit velocities, like whatever. But I mean, it feels like every time Patrick Wisdom gets a hold of a ball, like it's gone. Like there's not like you're really guessing about it. Like both the home runs today, as soon as he left the bat, you're like, well, that's gone.
First Cub with 8 homers in 15 games since Lee Walls in 1958.
Yeah,
I mean, it's a good start.
Yeah.
We had a couple things we wanted in the spring. We were asking for some sort of maybe not MVP Cody Bellinger, but if you could get a bounce back year from Cody Bellinger that made him a good player. So far, we've seen it. We asked for one of the young pitchers to grab the reins on the 5th starter job. Wesneski did it in the Cactus League, and now tonight we finally get his first good start. We asked for better defense. We've had it. We asked for good starting pitching. Niren sent me, hey, they're third in the majors in ERA right now for starting pitchers.
Yep.
After today's performance,
we asked for a third baseman to grab the reins and take the job. Listen, I love Morel as much as anybody. He's not here right now, and he couldn't be doing any better than what Patrick Wisdom's doing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's earned the playing time at third base.
And with the way that him and Bellinger are playing, I don't even know where you can even play Morel right now.
Yeah.
Somebody in pregame said we need Morel in center field, and I was like,
no, you don't.
Cody Bellinger was 5.
No,
he
you
was
don't.
5 for 5.
He's 5 for
tonight.
5 and
At
giving
the same
you a
time-
very good defense in center field. There's no reason to mess with that.
They don't have anybody that can play defense right now,
Like
Yeah.
Cody
as well as Cody Bellinger in center field.
Maybe Pete Crow Armstrong, but
He's not near the majors
Yeah,
yet.
yeah,
like
exactly.
they're not calling him
At
up.
the same time, you love having that kind of depth at AAA if an injury happens, and that's great. Now, as someone who is, because of some games I've been a little anxious and annoyed, and it makes me wonder, okay, how much more time until Morel or Mervis, which we'll talk about later, that some of those games have led me to feeling like we're needing them. But 9-6, you got 2 more with the Athletics, with Steele and Stroman going the next 2 days, and with the way this offense is played tonight, probably feel pretty good about it the next couple days. And again, with Bellinger playing the way he is, he ain't going to go 5 for 5 every night. And with the way that Wisdom's hitting the ball, I mean, there's not, outside of first base right now, you have to feel really good about every single position on the field. Even Yan Gomes, dude.
2 hits tonight,
Yan Gomes had a couple hits tonight. He continues to frame very, very well, stealing strikes for the pitchers on the mound. I don't know how you can't be happy about what you're seeing on the field from almost everyone on this roster that's playing almost every single day.
Yeah, and I think with the offense, it's like it feels like it's someone different every game. Like Bellinger and Wisdom both today were like everyone had a pretty solid game except for Mancini.
When we get to our who you got, it's just a list of players with hits, and that's the way it was Saturday too.
Yeah, but so what I'm saying is there you'll have those games where Dansby goes 4 for 4. I mean, Happ was on Friday, was 4 for 4, had a walk, but he had home run, 2 doubles, whatever. So it's like it feels like everyone in the lineup right now is hitting pretty well for the most part. And that, again, we came in with the expectation of where's this offense gonna do, and they've been a pleasant surprise as far as the output they're, the production they're putting out there. I don't know how sustainable it is, and they may regress to more of what we thought they would get. But obviously, for right now, the Cubs
ride a hot hand, man.
Yeah, the Cubs enjoy the ride they're on right now for sure. But yeah, just watching the games and you see, guys having good at bats, like the whole 3 true outcome thing isn't really what this team is built on right now. A lot of contact, a lot of balls in play. Even if it's a lot of singles, it's like line drives right to the outfield. It feels like they're doing a lot right at the plate, and you don't want to mess with that, of course. You don't want to see them regress either. But yeah, like I said, like the Cubs are enjoying the ride they're on right now.
And another thing and we haven't even mentioned this, it's they put the pressure on team's defense, man. Whether it is Nico Horner single up the middle, stolen base within the next 3 pitches later, Dansby, they had a double steal, hitting him in, or double steal with him after back-to-back hits. Like, they just put the pressure on the defense in so many different ways. Whether it's via the stolen base or Bellinger working long at bats, and if it doesn't work out, at least he's giving you a professional at bat. It worked out every single time for him tonight. But it's those little things, whether, again, with what I just said, that is putting this team in position to win ball games. And it's just really fun to watch, man. I know the Cubs aren't going to win 10-1 every single night, and they're playing the Oakland A's, who after watching that, I don't even know if they'll win 50 games this year. But all I know is if they had lost that game, we'd be sitting here pissed off. The chat just calling for all the guys in the minors to come up and everything. So to see them blow them out like this tonight, coming off a big series against the Dodgers, to come in and not have a letdown, to me is huge. I don't care how bad they are. There was no sign of a letdown in this game tonight.
I'm glad the steal is back in baseball. It's an exciting play.
Yeah,
I'm glad it's not an irrelevant play.
Totally.
To become an irrelevant, like it was a bad decision to steal a base.
Right.
Is the way to become. And now you see how fun it can be when a guy takes off for second base. I said all the things that we wanted. They have the league leader in stolen bases. They have the league leader in home runs, and they have the third best ERA for starting pitchers. This is a good start. I mean, like we said, right? Get off to a good start and give us something to be excited about. Doesn't mean they're going to be a playoff team necessarily, but wow, the team is. It's fun to watch.
Yeah.
Considering what you've gone through the last couple of years, this is, to use Tom Ricketts' term, this is competitive baseball. This is what we were hoping to see last year. We'll take it this year.
Yeah.
We'll take it this year.
More than competitive. We're going out there and winning ball games against good teams.
They're winning games. Like I said,
and dominating bad teams. I mean, I think what's been more impressive, and I know they played the A's tonight, but to win a series against the Rangers, Mariners, and Dodgers going into this series, I mean, the confidence in that clubhouse right now, it can't be higher right now. It hasn't been this high in the Cubs clubhouse since,
the
pre-COVID.
The double steal thing. How about just the guys at the top of the lineup? I could watch 1 through 3 hit all day.
And once and you're going to include Seiya in that as he kind of gets back into the game.
Yes.
Because we talked about that on the pre-show too. It's like everyone's worried that Seiya is swinging at pitches. It was 3 games in. Like, give him some time. He comes up with 2 hits, a couple of really good hits too.
The first 3 are all playing like all-stars, though.
First 3, I mean, you're gonna add Seiya in there, and like we talked about Wisdom, he's tied up top of the league, the major league lead for home runs, and he's their 6th, 7th, 8th hitter sometimes. Like it's the lineup is surprising everyone right now. I'm not gonna lie, and right now they have a combined 114 WRC plus, which is 6th in the majors. On top of what we talked about, like their pitching. I don't remember if it's their starting pitching or just their pitching in general. That's like a top 5 ERA.
Starting
pitching,
top 3, yeah.
I'm sure overall, their bullpen isn't like bringing that down at all either. Like they're playing very well, and it's not like they're playing the A's every game. Like they just came off 3 series against some really good teams. So
the overall team ERA is still top 10.
Yeah, so on both sides of the ball, they're playing well. The defense is doing very good. Like. That's at least 2 areas of the game we knew, like we kind of counted on the Cubs coming in and doing that well. The starting pitching and the defense, just pitching in general and defense. But now their offense is doing what they're doing right now. Like that just adds a whole new dynamic to a team that we didn't know what they were going to be. And it's a surprise to see what they're doing right now. I'm not going to lie, offensively. But It's good for them because they're winning games. They're winning games and they need to win.
Hashtag I agree with Luke.
Andy Martinez from Marquee Sports Network tweeted a graphic from Marquee about Cody Bellinger in a 7-game hit streak, hitting .464 on base, .484, 2 home runs, 3 doubles, OPS 1.270 in the 7-game hit streak.
I wonder where he's at since, because we know that Milwaukee series was really bad for Bellinger. I wonder where he's at. I haven't looked, but where he's at now, not including those first 3 games, like, because that'd be what, 12 games?
Bleacher Nation tweeted out.
In pregame, I had the stat. I'll look it up.
Like 12
I had what
since,
he is just the last 2 weeks, so that's since April 4th.
Bleacher Nation had tweeted out his stats this morning, going into this game
since Milwaukee,
since the Milwaukee series. He had and I want to say it was a 149 weighted runs created plus.
Since April 4th, Bellinger, not including tonight, a 149 WRC plus since April 4th, and a 6-game, now 7-game hitting streak.
Which, for one thing, can show you, like, still how small of a sample this is, that 3 bad games can weigh him down so much. But it also tells you, like, 3 games is nothing. If a guy struggles coming out, like, he could put up what he's done since then. And for Bellinger specifically, like, just knowing the struggles he's had the last few years, to see him like this that's good to see. It's good to see out of him.
It's good for baseball too.
Fresh start, start, new team, new environment, and he's hitting really well. Like, first 5-hit game of his career, like, this is like peak. This is the peak right now. Like, I'm not saying that's going to be his only peak, but it's like, this is like as much as you can ask for Cody Bellinger to give you right now offensively.
You know what else is great to see, Ryan, is that we've got 216 people viewing at midnight. Like, we went
on a Monday.
CHGO Cubs. We're a vibe right now. It's a vibe because we got a fun baseball team to talk about. We started with like 100 people. Then all of a sudden I looked down, it was 150. Then a few more people agreed with me. It was up to 200. Now we got 216. How about some likes out there? And if you're listening to this in the podcast form in the morning and you missed out because you had to go to bed, first of all, understandable. Just know that you want to subscribe to our CHGO Sports YouTube page because it's the best way to be part of what we're doing. You get to be in the chat and hang out with everybody in there and also interact with the show as it's going on live, and we all feel like you guys are a part of this show as much as we are.
We got 453 likes, 216 watching.
There's more diehards out there.
We also had a super chat. Did we read that one out?
We do. I believe it was Fernando.
Can you find that for us?
It's Fernando's super
way
chat.
Behind on it. Sorry, Fernando.
The chat's so on fire that it just
CHGO still awake. Late night W's and vibes.
That's right.
Hell yeah, baby.
Thank you, Fernando.
Beer bats and vibes.
Once we hit midnight, I feel like somebody should give us a $12 super chat. I'm not going to ask anybody for it. I'm just saying if we hit midnight on a show, generally a few $12 super chats.
Somebody got the Duke's phone number?
Where's
Duke?
Where's Gerard?
P. Will supporter, no complaints today.
There's 2 Joey Spathises in the chat right now.
Yeah, we got regular Joey and a big Joey.
There you go, P. Will.
I'm assuming the non-picture Joey Spathis is the real one.
I don't know, man.
Aaron wants a road trip.
We should do a road trip to Milwaukee, just saying.
We could.
I think that
tailgate in Milwaukee.
Milwaukee.
Yeah.
Let's make that happen.
Anyway.
We'll talk to Jake about that. See what he can do.
I thought as far as talk about the offense, I haven't said too much about Seiya. Going in the pregame show, a lot of people in the chat were, a little concerned. His first at bat tonight wasn't great, but 3 hits and an RBI.
And I said 2, 3 hits.
Yeah, finished with 3
solid hits.
3 hits, and again, I still think it's going to take some time because no spring training. But like I said, going into it, you're looking for this series with Oakland to help kind of at least boost his confidence a little bit, get some good at bats in, and try to carry that into tomorrow. And I think that's just what he's going to have to do for the next several games to like get into that rhythm, get into that flow, and then hopefully within the next month you're feeling really good about him. But I thought all things considered, he had a great game for how pissed off everyone was at him going into the game.
Because of a man of integrity, should I admit the deal that I was putting out last season to our CHGO Sox team?
You should.
Yeah.
Many times. How many times last summer did I say to Herb and Sean, listen, as we get closer to this deadline, you guys want Ian Happ and Patrick Wisdom, we'll take a flyer on Yoan Moncada. And they actually accepted the deal. They actually wanted it because the Sox needed a left-handed bat. They needed an outfielder, and they thought Wisdom could give them power. They were down on Moncada. But Rick Hahn didn't want to do the deal. Then after the season, then I got from other Sox fans, like, you're out of your mind. You're crazy. Clearly I was. I'd like to take that officially off the table. For all Cubs fans, that is now off the table. Gerard, super chat, $12. Midnight Vibes.
Thank you, Gerard.
Thank you, Gerard.
Shout out to Gerard.
Shout out Gerard.
G-Wit,
Fernando.
Well, it wasn't a crazy offer last year because I didn't think the Cubs were going to re-sign Ian Happ.
Yeah.
So if you were going to lose Ian Happ, who they didn't trade,
yeah, I mean at that point,
and Patrick Wisdom was not off to the start that he is now, it wasn't crazy.
Yeah, I mean, at that point, he was, outside of Wilson Contreras, the biggest trade chip on the team. When you were giving that offer, like, he was, the idea was that he was going to be traded within the next couple
and then
months.
They didn't trade either one, so it was like, wow, if we could have got Moncada and a flyer at a future third baseman.
Yeah.
And right now, you don't trade either one of those guys for Yoan Moncada.
I wouldn't trade Happ straight up for Moncada
right
now.
Neither one of them.
Trade Wisdom
no way.
For Moncada right now?
No.
I don't
think so.
I don't think I would.
Nope.
No, I mean, listen,
It's a tough call because Wisdom is so streaky.
Yeah.
But I do he does look different at the plate this year than he did.
And that leads me into a name that we haven't mentioned.
Well, here, let me talk about this Wisdom for Moncada thing real quick.
Okay.
And don't let me forget the super chat.
Why I would not do it, Wisdom, we talked about in the pre-show, he's making not that much. He's not even arbitration eligible. This year, Yoan Moncada is making $17 million, and he's making $24 million next year.
I would not make that deal.
He's on the injured list.
I would not make the deal for either guy straight
up. I don't know
up.
what the like
I was
AAV
willing to do both.
I think
it's off the table.
So it's $14 million like in terms of like AAV for like luxury tax purposes, I guess, is what Spotrac says. But like that's a lot more money than what the Cubs are paying Patrick Wisdom.
Krista, my old boss at Channel 2, said, "Good thing you're not a GM," and that is factual.
Fair. What I was gonna say again, we haven't mentioned this name, Dustin Kelly, the hitting coach for the Cubs.
Yeah,
he deserves a lot of credit. So probably a lot of it to Wisdom, and I want to give him some credit for Cody Bellinger, but I really do think health has a big part of it. But listen, we've talked about Cubs hitting. We've made jokes about Cubs hitting coaches for years because they can't seem to keep one around.
Now
it
he'll
seems
leave.
that maybe
now
this
he's gonna
guy.
Leave.
Fingers crossed. Knock on wood. It seems that this guy knows what he's doing. So I'm giving all the credit to the players, but whatever he is doing as a hitting coach has to be playing effect in this, in my opinion. So, because, if they weren't hitting, we'd all be calling for Dustin Kelly's head. So, when things are going good, you give him credit. And, let's read the super chat.
Yeah, we get another $12 super chat for reaching midnight. Thomas Schroeder says, most underrated part of the last few days has been Nico with 4 straight games with a walk.
Yep.
That was another thing that I think I've mentioned multiple times as the leadoff hitter, you want him to take a few more walks, right? Mm-hmm. And he was still hitting well, so I was like, but you also don't want to force him to do that. You don't want him to change his approach because he's hitting so well. He hasn't really changed his approach, but he's getting more walks, and that's 4 straight games with a walk is not. I mean, it's not like I think he has 5 walks on the year still, so 15 games in. But
with 9 stolen bases, he's turning the walks into doubles.
So as a leadoff man,
or a singles,
he was already doing very well. Yeah. He was already doing very well, setting the table as the leadoff man. Now he's starting to take a few more walks. You'll probably start seeing that on base percentage go up a little bit more, and then you're like, okay, the Cubs do have a really, really good leadoff man. And I mean, we said that, the fact that he puts the ball in play all the time, he doesn't strike out very much like that, was the makings of a good leadoff man. But if he could walk more, would be great. And he's starting to do that. And again, want to see it continue. But that's 4 straight games with the walk is a good sign from Nico Horner.
Yeah,
in that front,
he's been doing everything right. I mean, outside of maybe getting picked off at first base yesterday, with Urias on the mound, I haven't seen that guy do anything wrong much. You know what I mean? He just and that goes back to what I was saying about putting the pressure on the defense, whether he's walking or whether he's getting a single. Gets on, and within 5 pitches, this guy is on his way to second base and putting pressure on the defense. Dansby's at the plate, or it's Ian Happ, and you got a guy in scoring position with a chance to, whether it's tying the game or taking the lead. Like I'm not saying this team is 2016 Cubs because that team won the World Series, but a lot of what that team did was put pressure on the defense, and we just haven't seen a lot of that over the last few years, for sure. So,
I didn't want to have to get the water bottle out for the first time.
I'm not saying it. I'm just saying, like, they find different ways. They find different ways to put the pressure on the defense, and
they do.
That was something that the 2016 team did. So.
The only thing brighter than the future for the Cubs right now would be the 200 new lights they have above Wrigley Field, Cody.
I agree. Absolutely agree. And it's probably because of the ComEd Energy Efficiency Program, which is committed to helping families and businesses in the communities they serve, helping manage energy usage and lower energy bills now and into the future, Luke.
That's right. ComEd offers a wide variety of incentives on lighting and other efficiency upgrades to commercial, industrial, public sector customers of all sizes across their territory. ComEd also offers free facility assessments that can help find energy-saving opportunities for HVAC systems, commercial kitchen equipment, or industrial processes.
Ooh, how does it work?
An authorized engineer will work with you, Cody, to develop a detailed assessment plan specific to your goals and needs. They can be done in person or virtually. They'll last about 2 hours. Then in about 3 to 4 weeks, sometimes less, customers receive a report detailing energy efficiency projects that they can start working on immediately. Each recommendation will include estimated energy savings, cost savings, project costs, potential incentives, and simple payback. If you own a business, you don't want to wait on this. Get started saving money and energy today. For energy-saving tips, lighting incentives, or schedule your free facility assessment, go to ComEd.com/poweringbiz.
Did you say ComEd.com/poweringbiz, Luke?
You bet I did. Schedule it today, Cody.
Absolutely. I'm getting on that as soon as the show is over. I'll be trying to do that here after midnight, Luke.
12:15 in the morning?
Yes.
Schedule that.
No better thing to do at 12:15 in the morning than scheduling my ComEd efficiency
Cole says I'm the Rajon Rondo of ComEd setups.
There you go.
I'm just spitting facts. Just spitting facts.
Make it look so easy. But yeah, no, we talk about the the lights at Wrigley, and the
yeah,
the Cubs are about to go back home soon. They might have a few more of those strobe light win celebration things, and it's mid-April. We got lucky with the sun last week. The sun went down again. It was cold again today, but the sun will come back up. So when that happens, when the Cubs win, you need to shield your eyes from that strobe light display they'll have. You're gonna need Shady Rays. You're gonna need Shady Rays. Shady Rays never understood why sunglasses were so expensive, so they set out to change it. You don't have to break the bank for quality sunglasses this fall because our friends at Shady Rays have you covered. Shady Rays are premium polarized shades featuring world-class optical clarity, substantial durability, and styles catered to everyone and every lifestyle. The best part about Shady Rays, they have the most insane protection program in all of eyewear, lost and broken replacements. If you lose or break your shades on day one, they told us they will send you a brand new pair, no questions asked. You drop them in the lake or off a cliff, anything, they'll replace them. Now, even with that strong of a protection program, they still manage to make quality that I can tell you, holding in my hand, seems just as good as any expensive pair that I have ever worn. Shady Rays customers seem to agree with over 200,000 five-star reviews. Shady Rays also provides 10 meals to fight hunger in America with every order placed and have donated over 20 million meals to date. They stand behind their product and told our team that if anyone has a problem, they throw profit out the window and do what it takes to get it right. That's free returns and exchanges. You either love the shades or Shady Rays will pay to ship them back. That's it. And exclusively for our listeners, Shady Rays is running their deepest deal of the season. Use code CHGO for 50% off 2 or more pairs at ShadyRays.com. That's buy one, get one free. As Luke likes to say, BOGO. He likes to shorten those things.
Sometimes I say BOGO, baby.
BOGO, baby. You get 2 pairs for as low as $54. Redeem that code CHGO for 50% off. Only at ShadyRays.com, where you can find all their newest and best shades. I remember spoiling my mom's Christmas presents by announcing that live on the show. Sorry, Mom. But she did that. Everyone she gave glasses to, Shady Rays sunglasses to, loved them. We love ours, so get yourself a pair of Shady Rays.
I couldn't live with the ones
Watching
I
in
have.
Tokyo. Got a chat from Tokyo.
I couldn't live without my Shady Rays.
Oh, I thought you
My
said
Shady Rays,
I'm like,
there's nothing like going to beautiful historic Wrigley Field on a 120 day game with the Shady Rays I have, because I walk into that place and my vibe immediately changes, and the Shady Rays only help with that. So you too could be that person.
Rick the House, I'm not telling you how to cub, but Morel at third base, like, you can't ask anymore out of Patrick Wisdom at third base right now. I want to see Christopher Morel at the big league level. I think it'll happen. It won't be that long. But right now, even if he came up, he wouldn't be my guy at third base.
Now, I know Wisdom DH tonight, and Madrigal played third, and that's probably why he's saying that.
Yeah, and I would put Wisdom back at third base. Like, I don't.
But I would put Wisdom back at third just because his defense is great, and he's going to play third more often than not anyway. The thing is just you're not going to put Madrigal at DH. You're just not. He doesn't fit. He's not. You need power at DH.
Yeah.
Madrigal just isn't that. We could sit here and scream and yell about Madrigal for hours, and it's not even that I don't like the dude or that I don't think he's a valuable piece. I do think he can be. It's more of just that there's no spot for him on this team to play full time. To me, the Cubs need to find a way to trade him. That's just how I feel about it. That way, they can then play Morel eventually more down the road. That's just me. So
I see Ravi's got the victory munchies in the chat. It's good to know.
Gardettos.
Ooh,
Speaking of guys in the chat, Niren sent me a couple different little graphics and things today. I always like to check out what he's thinking.
You guys are just communicating.
We're DMing back and forth.
Yeah.
He put together this massive graphic of former Cubs core players and current Cubs core players and the starts they're off to this season. We kind of chopped that down to these 6. Rizzo, Bryant, Baez, Wisdom, Swanson, Horner. First of all, Wisdom, Swanson, and Horner are off to spectacular starts. Javi Baez is off to a negative 1.2 WAR, one of the worst in baseball. Bryant's not off to a great start either. Rizzo's off to a good start.
Bryant's hitting. He just has no power right now. And they're playing him in right field in Colorado, and it's a big outfield. Like, I guess it's hard to be good at defense in that outfield in general. I mean, I don't know. I don't.
He had a great game tonight.
I don't necessarily know how WAR is measured for defense and how it goes into.
He's batting 323.
But
finally
again,
hit a homer.
He is hitting. He just the power hasn't been there.
Yeah, it's hard to be. It's obviously a hitter-friendly ballpark. Of course.
Yeah,
like it's no one. There's a few teams that have a great defensive team out there, great pitching staff because the ball flies up there in Coors Field.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Bryant homer tonight. He was a negative 0.2 WAR before the game tonight, and his WRC plus was below 100. So now he's above league average there. But yeah, had a good game tonight. But you're right, the power's not been there at all.
And then you look at you guys picked Wisdom, Swanson, and Horner, but you look at like Bellinger and Happ too,
and Contreras on the other side. Like it's been a good start for the current Cubs core, obviously.
Yeah,
and some of the guys that you'll miss forever, which I understand, are not off to great starts. Doesn't mean it's going to finish that. Doesn't mean it's going to finish that way, but feel good about the guys that are on your team now. Speaking of that,
go ahead.
We got a lot in the chat that want to talk about Mervis.
Okay. Oh, so
when do you want Mad Mervis up? Because that seems to be everybody's happy about tonight's game, and everybody's happy about 20 hits, and everybody's happy about Wisdom and Bellinger.
Right.
Man, if it's not Morel, it's when is Mervis taking over at first base.
Okay. I know Ryan has his own side to this, so let me go first. To me, while I understand that Mancini and Hosmer are respected veterans, and that means something more in a clubhouse than what we as fans probably see or notice at all. To me, I just don't know how much more Matt Mervis needs to prove. I know it was 1 year. He went from double A, I want to say, or single A or double.
From the high A
all the way up to triple A last year. Then went to the Arizona Fall League and did well. And I know he didn't do well in the World Baseball Classic for the few games that Israel actually played. But he's only gone back to Iowa and currently has a higher walk rate than strikeout rate. I'm not saying you call him up to play every single day. I am saying if Mancini and Hosmer continue to struggle like this, there's absolutely no reason that he doesn't get the call. I put the line at May 1st. I put my line at May 1st on opening day.
That's pretty close.
All right? So I'm not saying call him up tomorrow. I'm saying soon, because as much as I think Mancini will figure it out, I just don't have a lot of belief in Eric Hosmer being more than what he is. So that's where I'm at. And because of how much Eric Hosmer is getting paid, you can afford to cut bait with that. And again, I understand that he has a veteran presence and all this, but there's also other veterans on this team too. And at the end of the day, you play the best players. If you want to win, you play the best players. And Matt Mervis, in my opinion, has proved enough to be on the Chicago Cubs tomorrow. That's how I feel.
I'm not saying he hasn't proven a lot at AAA. I think he's gone up. I mean, but he went up every level last year and was maybe even better at each level. When he might have been better at AA than he was at single A. Better at AAA than AA. The reason I push back on that is just he's still at like low 300 plate appearances total at the AAA level, which is it's a good amount. I think something like maybe 500 is maybe where most teams are more comfortable making sure guys get those amount before they're like really ready. I'm not saying he's not. He seems ready to me, but the other thing is we're comparing AAA to Major League Baseball here, and we're saying yes, he's killing it at AAA. Same with Morel, killing it at AAA. He should, if he's Major League ready, he should be killing it at AAA. It'd be a problem if he wasn't hitting this well. So it's the same thing with Morel. We saw how much he struggled after that, that first month or so. He had a few more highs, but a lot more lows that whole season. Now he goes back to AAA and is killing it. Well, he should be, because he had all that Major League experience, saw what it was. Like the big league level was a huge jump. And I'm not saying Matt Mervis doesn't deserve the shot soon, but it's April 18th. We're 15 games into the season. Eric Hosmer hasn't been the hitter he was in the past, the last few years. But to think that Mancini, who's admittedly struggling, to say he can't turn it around after 15 games is a little too reactionary, in my opinion.
I agree with you on
that. And it's a guy who hit 35 bombs in a major league season. So he's done it.
Yeah, comeback player of the year, like all this stuff. Like he has that type of success. And I mentioned it to you guys earlier, like just the fact of like, are you going to cut Eric Hosmer 2 weeks into the season, a pretty respected veteran in that clubhouse, full of a lot of guys who are still relatively young in the league and don't have that type of like knowing how to win at the big league level? That I don't know what kind of message that sends to the clubhouse. And then the other reason I push back is, again, not saying that Matt Mervis doesn't deserve the opportunity, but if he comes up and he struggles like that, then what do people say? Like you're putting a lot of stock in a guy who had one really, really good year in the minor leagues. You're putting a lot of stock in him to come up and perform really well right away. And Jed Hoyer talked about it when the day that Ian Happ signed his extension, that the Chris Bryant stories are pretty freaking rare. It's more of like, you see more of the Ian Happ type stories or the Kyle Schwarbers, where they might come up, but they're going to go through their ups and downs, right? They're going to go through their ups and downs. Ian Happ, 2 years in his career, 2019, got optioned to AAA to start the year because those ups and downs were so, like they were so big, right? Yeah. So I would like to see Matt Mervis get a shot sooner rather than later. That's not at all what I'm saying. Like there will be a point where like there's nothing left for him to prove at AAA, and he deserves the opportunity. But to say that he needs to come up because Trey Mancini and Eric Hosmer aren't performing, you're putting a lot of stock into a still relatively young guy, no major league experience, to come in and like play the savior in a way. To come in and shore up the off. Well, but you're putting stock in him to come in and shore up the deficiencies at first base that Eric Hosmer. Well, I mean, Hosmer hasn't. I don't think been as bad as what Mancini showed. But you're asking
defensively,
him,
no.
Yeah. So you're asking Mervis to come in and fill in and make up for what Mancini especially is struggling with, and I just think that's a lot of stock to put into a guy who's never played. He's never seen a pitch at the major league level. I think we're sitting here on April 18th. There is still a lot of time for a guy like Trey Mancini to start to turn things around. 15 games into the year. That's
what I was thinking.
As small
it's 15
sample size,
games.
Yeah. As small sample sizes go, that's
I want
a
to see
small
him.
sample size.
I want to see him, and he's doing all the things he should do to push his way up. But I'm not going to panic 15 games in. You're playing well. Sean said in the comments, and I think this is something to consider too. Don't rock the boat right now. Like, things are going pretty well. You don't have to panic and be like, we have to get this one more guy to fix the one position that's not playing well, because you know what? Let's be honest. 2 weeks from now, 15 days later, we might be saying, man, Wisdom just can't get a hit. Should we bring Morel up? Isn't it time Morel? That's just how fast baseball can turn sometimes. Yeah. So let's wait. Let's see if he can do a whole month down there where he's just absolutely mashing. And let's see if these guys are continuing to struggle, and then maybe there will be decisions where. But the best case scenario for the Cubs is you get the guys to bounce back, the veterans, Mancini and Hosmer, to start playing well, and you get Mervis playing well, because then you have the flexibility of doing anything you want.
Well, yeah. I mean, again, the only reason that I'm on the cliff of like, oh, can we get Mervis
for 17
already?
Mancini's got you concerned.
Well, it's not even, honestly, it's not Mancini. It's Hosmer.
Okay.
Hosmer's ground ball rate is ridiculous. Mm-hmm. He saw 2 whole pitches on Saturday, or maybe whatever game he played last, 2 whole pitches. First one, he popped it straight up on the infield. Second one, he hit into a ground ball double play. And then, of course, Wisdom hit a solo shot right after it. And it's, again, I've given him credit. Hell, there's a tweet out there of mine that says Hosmer has been better than we all expected. And he's had big hits.
He's had some 3-hit games.
He's had some decent games. He's had some hits in big moments when the Cubs needed a run or two here or there. I'm not saying that he's horrific and all this. All I'm saying is that how much longer can you ride that wave? And Hosmer just I think he's shown that what he is on the back of what he's been the back end of his career, and we're seeing it ourselves. And Mancini's a guy that we could, like, anyone who's out on him already, I think y'all need to like go outside or have a beer or something. But Hosmer is the guy to me that's like, his days are numbered, because even when he signed, he knew that his days were numbered. He had to have known that with what the Cubs have in Matt Mervis.
If Mervis were to push him, yeah. Well, Mancini has the 2-year deal.
Yeah, he's
so they're going to give him longer to figure it out.
He's not going anywhere.
No.
Right. And so I'm not out on Mancini. I'm not saying that you bench him or anything. All I'm saying is that the Cubs just need help at first base. And I understand 15 games in, we have to let some things play out. But I also said May 1st. That's my line. If he's not here by May 1st, and first base is still a big toss-up, then I'm gonna be a little irked. That's all I'm saying.
You'll be a little bit angry. I'll tell you one great thing about Mervis in the minor leagues right now is if you have FuboTV, you can stream some of those games live because you can get Marquee live.
Yeah.
Look at that.
So you can watch Matt Mervis on. You can pick up your phone some nights if that game's on Marquee. You can go just pick it up and watch it right on your phone or your iPad. They've got 140 plus live channels of sports, shows, movies, and news. Stream live TV from any device. Watch the most Chicago sports for the lowest price. Start watching immediately with a 7-day free trial. No contract, no cable, No hassle. Just sign up and start watching. 1,000 hours of cloud DVR service included with no extra charge. Watch your local teams while traveling. So maybe you go on a vacation this summer. You take the Cubs with you. You don't have to worry about that. They got a lot of events coming up. They've got the NFL Draft coming up on ESPN and NFL Network. We've got the NHL and NBA playoffs going on. And, of course, the big thing for Cubs fans, you can watch Marquee right on FuboTV. Use the link in the description to sign up for 15% off your first month of Fubo Pro.
Guys, while Luke was reading that, I realized that I came one leg short of my NBA same-game parlay tonight on DraftKings.
Brutal.
It's
Hit parlay work, though.
The hit parlay, the Cubs hit parlay hit, and also the same-game parlay for the Cubs game in general that I gave out on CHGO Bets Daily today also hit. Domantas Sabonis, though, I needed over 10.5 rebounds. Of course, he got 9. That's gambling.
He got hurt, too.
Did he?
Mm-hmm. That's probably why he didn't get it.
That's probably why. Anyway, just talking about the NBA playoffs time. That means big hoops action with DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NBA. Get in on the excitement of every game with the touch of a button. New customers can make a $5 pregame moneyline bet and score $150 in bonus bets if their team wins. Plus, everyone can score a no-sweat same-game parlay every day during the NBA playoffs. Open the DraftKings Sportsbook app, opt in. It plays the same-game parlay on any NBA game. If it doesn't hit, you'll get a bonus bet back up to $10. So I lost my bet tonight. I'll have a $10 free bet, technically is what they'll call it, in my bet slip tomorrow, in which I'll probably place on a Cubs hit parlay for tomorrow. And then I will probably place another NBA same-game parlay because it's just too good to pass up, guys, because there's no – you place it, and if you lose, you get your money back, and you can place it on something else. So that's my favorite part about DraftKings Sportsbook. Download the app now and sign up with code CHGO. New customers can make a $5 pregame moneyline bet and score $150 in bonus bets if their team wins. Only at DraftKings Sportsbook with code CHGO. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In Massachusetts, call 800-327-5050 or visit gamblinghelpma.org. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. In Kansas, call 1-800-522-4700. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort, 21 plus in most eligible states, but age varies by jurisdiction. Eligibility restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com/sportsbook for details and state-specific responsible gambling resources. Holy buckets. I told Luke I would do it, and I did it.
You did it. You powered through it. We got 215 people still hanging with us at 12:30 in the morning.
Hell yeah, baby.
We appreciate
likes, but we have 96 likes. We need 4 more for 100. We appreciate all 215 people, but somebody out there hasn't hit the like button, and somebody gave us a thumbs down. Boo to you.
Yeah, I don't like that.
Why would you give us a thumbs down this late, man?
That's a Cardinals fan.
Probably.
We need some more likes in there. Keep them
all right.
coming.
The much awaited who you got. We had a lot going on tonight. So here's what everybody did. I had Wesneski, 7 innings, 1 earned run, 7 strikeouts, no walks. Ryan had Wisdom, 3 for 5, 2 home runs, 4 RBI, 2 strikeouts.
One that shouldn't have been a strikeout, but well.
Cody, Seiya Suzuki, 3 for 5, 1 RBI, 2 strikeouts. Corey, Nico Horner, 2 for 5, scored 3 runs, and drove in a run.
And a stolen base.
This is one where last year we would have said everybody gets a point. But we made the rule, no. So what does everybody in the chat think? Like, if you had to pick out the crazy part, here's the real sidebar to this. What if one of us had picked Cody Bellinger?
Oh, man.
Ooh.
5 for 5.
Oh.
What would you – I will say this. Having taken Hayden Wesneski, if Corey or whoever, it doesn't matter. If somebody had Cody Bellinger, I don't know how you don't take 5 for 5. Even if there wasn't a home run, it was just 5 singles. 5 for 5 is 5 for 5.
Yeah.
So if I had to say Wesneski or Bellinger, I think I probably would have said I would have said Bellinger. Now, Wesneski, the only thing I'd say about Wesneski, Barb pointed out, and I didn't even think of it, it was his longest, deepest start of his career.
I mean,
and he did need it. I would say.
I mean, most of the chat has said Ryan.
Marcus says Nico.
I mean, if you scroll Ryan,
there's a P-Wizzy. Tyler says Steve. Ryan, Wisdom. I'd say Wisdom.
Can we get a Seiya?
I think Corey.
I'm not making an argument. I'm just saying I would take Wisdom. Although somebody does agree with Luke.
I will say
Nico had such a great game,
I would have taken
That's the
Bellinger.
thing is, I think Nico
had the best game.
Nico is above. I don't think Nico's above Wesneski. 7 innings, 1 run, 7 strikeouts. But it's the 2 home run thing.
The guy 3 for 5 may have been the worst performance of the 4.
They're all great. The crazy part is that they're all great, and Bellinger probably still would have won with 5 for 5.
Yeah. It's
no one's impressed with Wesneski because they played the A's.
I will say Corey was in the chat earlier. The biggest Stuckey Nation supporter said that I win.
What did you say about the A's?
I said that no one's impressed by Wesneski fully for who you got, at least because they played the Athletics.
Right, and I'm not saying it's Wesneski. I would say it's Wisdom, but that's a bad argument because they also hit against the A's, who have the worst ERA in baseball. Sure. So he hit 2 home runs off the worst pitching in baseball.
I would say most days.
That's why they had 20 hits.
Most days, even though Wesneski wasn't as sharp as you want him to be, he got the results. He was 7 innings, 1 run, 7 strikeouts, no walks. On most days, that's probably like a shoe-in for a who you got win. Today was a weird day.
I won't even try and
I would say Wisdom. I would say it's Wisdom, and
fine.
Here's the reason it wasn't.
Whatever.
I mean, I can make an argument for Wesneski. Obviously, deepest start, 7 innings, 1 run, 7 strikeouts, no walks. But it's the fact that not only did he hit 2 home runs, one of them was meaningless because the game was over, but he hit 2 home runs and he took the major league lead 15 games into the season. So I'll go Wisdom.
There we go.
One of these days. I mean,
we've had some tough luck. Cody and I have had some tough luck.
I did get Tyone on Saturday.
You did.
Whatever.
So what are the?
I just I can't buy winning this.
Would we all agree that Bellinger would have won?
I think.
Would you been willing to sacrifice your guy? I mean, I'm saying right off, he's better.
5 hits in a game is unheard of. I mean, that doesn't happen.
It's unheard of for a guy that was an MVP.
He'd never done it.
Yeah. A previous
4
MVP
hits was
had never
2019. 4 for 4 was 2019. So
I would say as far as this game, Bellinger's probably the only one that would have taken over Wisdom for a win. I think it would be Bellinger Wisdom, but since nobody picked Bellinger,
who picked the opossum in the press box? Listen, if we had a 2-hour game, that would have been the true winner, and I would have declared it the winner, no matter who did well.
Yeah, I think we can all agree that we love the pitch clock on West Coast 9 games like tonight.
Oh yeah.
So hopefully tomorrow we get a much quicker game.
Stro show versus whoever the hell the A's are throwing.
Is it Ken Waldachuk?
Oh, it's after midnight. I'll take Stroman tomorrow.
Okay. All right.
I'll take Stroman on Tuesday.
I'll wait for the lineup to come out.
So we won't have a show tomorrow because we're doing a show on Friday.
Right.
So no show tomorrow, Tuesday through Friday, or Wednesday through Friday.
Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Yeah.
All right.
So
because I think Barb was asking earlier.
Barb was asking. Barb, we will not be here. We'll be on the Twitters.
Yeah, we'll be on.
We'll be out there in the space.
Yeah. Maybe a
Twitter space.
Maybe we'll do a late night Twitter
huh?
space tomorrow after the game, in which,
technically we are doing it.
Talk about, right?
Technically, we did do a podcast on Monday and Tuesday because it is 12:33 in the morning.
Look at us.
Hey, we got 107 likes. What a great way to end.
And I'm 6 and
God
7.
bless
Who you
all
got?
of you.
I'm almost 500.
Thanks to everybody. Still 220 strong. Impressive. Cubs win 10-1. 20 hits. Great game by Wesneski. Not enough to win who you got, but a great game by Wesneski.
Say stock. Buy stock now.
Buy stock now. Hashtag vibe with us. Thanks for checking out the CHGO Cubs podcast presented by DraftKings, America's top-rated sportsbook. Download the app. Use the promo code CHGO. We will see you back here live on Wednesday. But until then, of course, light and fly the W.